Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of the Daily Dose. Today is Wednesday, August 17th, and we saw the markets kind of bounce lower today. I want to start here. Wall Street is a bit too optimistic about 2023. This is coming from a senior investment strategist at Merrill and Bank of America. And he thinks that Wall Street is getting a little bit ahead of themselves when it comes to all the bullish sentiment in the markets. He says, I think consensus is just a bit too optimistic about 2023. We've seen cuts to forecasts for the second half of this year, but we haven't seen meaningful cuts for 2023. And I think that's going to play out when we get to the fall. So basically what he's saying is the economy and just corporations aren't really predicting correctly what's going to happen in 2023. Unemployment is probably going to pick up. You're going to see the Fed continue to tighten interest rates to get control of inflation, to really push it back down. Because even if inflation stabilizes like it is right now, it's still ridiculously high, and that's something that the Fed needs to push down. And when they do that, it's going to cause for people to lose their jobs. It's going to that in turn makes money come out of the market, and it causes some of these markets to topple over. So given the market's current trajectory, McGregor endorses the idea of having a patient bear. Maybe we haven't seen the low in the market. He says you do have to be patient in bear markets. You know, the worst may be behind us, but we're staying on guard because I think you're going to be in this kind of wide range bound market for some time. Again, until we get kind of more clearance on the macro front and more reset on the earnings front. That's what he said. So he said, I think that means sticking to higher quality investments, things like dividend payers. I know it's not the most exciting story out there. And then finding a balance when it comes to sectors. We still like sectors like energy, which have been really doing the heavy lifting in terms of earnings, but I would balance that out with more defensive areas like utilities, healthcare, even consumer staples to give that balance back to the portfolios. So he's really saying that the market is a little bit too optimistic. Maybe there's, in my opinion, there's not a lot of things that could come out that would surprise us to the bull side. We're kind of pricing in best case scenario, but there are lots of things that could come out that could push us to the downside. And that's kind of where I stand on it. But we've been looking at this chart. This is the trend line we've been looking at, obviously, and it kind of came up. We can edit that even. Let's edit that to be a little more accurate. So we came up. We hit the trend line yesterday, and we sold back off. And look, we look at those pin bars. So look, the range today was the top of our zone and the bottom of our zone. I mean, that's just good charting. We had this trend line here. We hit the trend line, and now we bounced in on the zone, and that's exactly what we had charted out. So let's take a look at the day range if we can. So this is where we were today. Wow, that's all wonky. Okay, so ignore this line because that's just the trend line malfunctioning. That's not actually where the trend line is. But look we stayed in this zone. We bounced in the bottom and we bounced at the top today. So that's really what happened is we tested the zone today. Let's go back. I hope that didn't ruin my trend line. No, it didn't. Great. Okay. So yeah, we really just tested this zone today. We bought to the top, sold to the bottom, and we finished somewhere in between. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to sell off to this zone here, about 41.56 to 41.15. That would be the next zone if we break below. And if we break above, I mean, all bets are off. The market could continue to rally, but I think it's more of a sucker's rally. I think eventually we're going to have to come back down. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is actually falling. It tracked with the NASDAQ today, and it kind of sold off. So we might see our first lower low. It doesn't look great on Bitcoin right now. That's not really a higher high. I mean, the wicks did come up, but we didn't really see a close up there. That was really bullish looking. So nothing too exciting on that front. Obviously, the stock market is looking like it might start to correct itself a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, risk-on assets got hammered today, as you can see on the side of my screen. The ARKs got hammered, Bitcoin got hammered, the tech stocks kind of sold off. So thank you for joining me today. Be sure to stay tuned with us the rest of the week and over the weekend. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.